Feminism. Feminism. Hi, welcome back to my channel. I am the Modest Bombshell, and today I want to talk about feminism, the fourth wave of feminism, and all of the strange inconsistencies that I find within this movement that makes it hard for me to support it and celebrate it and be a part of it. First, if you're coming over from my TikTok, hi. I'm just going to reiterate what I said there, just to start us off for those of you who are not coming from my TikTok. So I spoke briefly about how I find it strange how the women in this movement and community choose to project their power and which characteristics they choose to embody in order to project power. So in feminism today, it's very clear to see that it no longer has anything to do with women, our happiness, our health, our life, and everything to do with mimicking men and trying to act like men. Because oftentimes what you'll hear women in this community say is, it always boils down to, but men do it. Men do it all the time. So why can't I? Why can't I manipulate? Why can't I finesse? Why can't I act like a boy? Why can't I be sexually opportunistic? Men do it. So it keeps coming back to that. So it's very obvious for anyone with two brain cells to see that it has nothing to do with women. Women are not at the center of this movement anymore, and men are. And mimicking men and trying to be like men is now the flavor. It's now the whole goal. Trying to eradicate men by becoming them. The women who choose to do that, for whatever reason, take the worst, the absolute worst of all of the stereotypically male and masculine characteristics and traits. They internalize that and use that in order to help them project power, in order to help them put themselves on an equal and square footing with men. If you're looking at men who actually have power in society, they don't even act like that. So the women who are attempting to impress upon others that they have power, that they have free agency, they will typically act very brusque, aggressive, constantly projecting out their sexuality, but then putting themselves on the moral high ground when they get attention. So it's odd, but they choose the worst of all these of the stereotypical masculine traits in order to help them project their power onto other people. And it's silly because men with actual power don't do that. Men with actual power aren't running around cursing a lot, talking crazy. They're not aggressive. They don't feel the need to tell you how much money they have, how much clout they have. When I see these women acting like that, I'm just going, okay, that's counterproductive. They just end up looking like boys who have no manners and who are ill-bred, right? So that's the first issue that I take that makes it very difficult for me to connect with this movement. The next issue that I take with this movement is women who dress a certain way in order to let others know that they are exercising their autonomy and their free agency and their power. Again, all of this is to try and mimic the power of the men who are at the top, the men who have all of the power and free agency in the world. And again, it's counterproductive and it's inconsistent. If the whole goal is to have the same power as the men who are at the top, you would think logically, let me embody the same traits, characteristics, and habits of those men because I want that kind of power too. But no, that's not what they're doing. They're doing the polar opposite, so it doesn't make any sense, right? Men who are at the top of the world, who have all the power in the world, all the free agency in the world, how do they typically dress? In suits, typically. And when they're not in the suit, they're still dressed, very nicely, presentable. So if you look at these men, by and large, they practice modesty in their dress. They'll wear button-downs, but the buttons will be buttoned all the way up to their neck. And just for extra good measure, they'll take a tie and wrap it around and knot it shut. So you really can't get in there. It's like clothes. They're very modest. These men who have all this power and free agency practice modesty. So why is it that the women who want to embody that same power and want to have that same free agency do the polar opposite? They get more naked and take off more of their clothes in an attempt to try and emulate and mimic those men. But those men are very clean and very well dressed, and very modest. It's just a little contradictory and inconsistent, and it doesn't make any sense. So I have to ask myself, is this really putting us on an equal footing with men? Is it? It doesn't seem like it is. It seems like it's very counterproductive. Now, here's a little scenario that is often asked to women in the feminist community. Okay, you have a guy in your life, and he offers, hey, I want to get married. However, if we get married, I need you to quit your job, and I will give you an allowance. I'll give you money. So you're it's not like you have no money whatsoever. I'll give you that. Would you take that arrangement? And that's the question that's asked to these ladies who, are on these podcasts. And they'll typically go, no, I'd rather have my job. I'd rather have my money. Why would I quit my job? I make X amount of dollars for him. After that, they'll go on to then say how they don't deal with men who don't give them money, and they don't deal with men who won't pay their bills. So it's like, what? So you wouldn't take an arrangement in which you're married to the guy and he's giving you money, but at the same time, you only deal with men who give you money and pay your bills. How is it different? So I find that to be so contradictory and inconsistent. It's this, but again, it goes back to projecting this sort of power, this perceived power, as if she's more powerful by doing the exact same thing, only she's not married to him and she keeps her job, but she's still going to expect him to provide for her. So it's just, they confuse me. I'm confused by them. But the ladies who are part of this movement, they claim they want complete equality. Men and women are not different in any single way. There's no delineation. That doesn't exist. These are constructs. These are man-made. That doesn't actually happen in nature. We're the same in every single way. No natural distinction. There is, but in their minds, there's no natural distinction. All of these lines of demarcation, it's made up. Yet these same women who say that, would never consider stepping into a leadership position, specifically when it comes to romance. These same women who claim that they are on the same equal footing with men, that we're both here, these same women would never be the ones to initiate a relationship or a romance with a man. They would never be the ones to go and ask a guy out on a date first. The same ones who claim that we are the same will still expect men to initiate conversation first, to initiate asking her out on the date first, to initiate the long-term relationship after they've started dating. And then she will still expect him to be the initiator throughout the relationship, reaffirming the relationship and continuing to confirm that the relationship is exclusive throughout the rest of the relationship. So we're equal. In their minds, we're equal. However, I still expect you to be the initiator and the leader. If we're really equal, then you would see a lot more women switching that position as well. You would see a lot more women going up to men saying, hey, can I have your number? Can I take you out on a date? But that's not what's happening. But unconsciously, they still expect men to be the leaders and the initiators. So I have issue with that as well. These ladies were really genuine about this whole we're here with men. We would see that happening. We would see more women stepping into that initiatory position and being the one doing the courting. But that's not what's happening. They still expect men unconsciously, without admitting to themselves, they still expect men to be the initiator, the leader. So it's inconsistent all throughout, and it doesn't make any sense to me and many other women like me who are looking at this with bombastic side eye, like, what are y'all talking about? And finally, another way that the contradiction manifests itself. These same women, once they get into a relationship with this type of guy who acquiesces to that, men who acquiesce to that and who get into these relationships with these types of domineering women who are absolutely sure in their mind that there is no natural distinction, that we are perfectly 50-50. Check how their attitude towards that man changes over the course of the relationship. It starts off, oh yeah, he agrees with me. We're totally on the same page. We're equal. It's 50-50. Da 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 da. Over the course of their relationship, her attitude towards him is going to become as if he's like her child. And we see this happening. These types of men are passive. They're pacifists, right? They don't want to fight. Yes, 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 dear, whatever you say, whatever you're saying, it's fine. I totally agree. I'm not going to fight you. And they're very passive and, and kind of mousy, these types of men. But these types of women don't. They let you know that they don't respect them. And see it in their attitude towards them. It's very selfish. It's very, oh, he's here because I allow him to be here. He's going to do what I say because I'm right. But then those same women will begin to harbor a kind of resentment towards these types of guys that they get into relationships with. They will begin to harbor resentment from them because these types of guys seldom ever initiate. They seldom ever step into these leadership positions, and they kind of just are like, yes, dear, whatever you say, dear, I'll go wherever you want to go. You plan the date. We split the bill 50-50. Eventually, they begin to harbor resentment for them. But it's like you wanted that type of relationship dynamic. And you can hear the resentment in their voice for the guy that they're dating. It sounds like complaining. And so I think to myself, are you really happy? It doesn't sound like you're happy with this lifestyle that you've decided that you wanted for yourself. It doesn't sound like you enjoy this. It sounds like you hate it. You hate always being the one initiating. They got it. They're very tough girls and they know what they want, clearly, because they sound very chipper about dating this type of passive man. Anyway, feminism, that is what I think about it. It's silly and it's absurd. This fourth wave of it that we're living under now, it's no longer about trying to transition women into the predominantly and historically male world. It's about trying to just be men. Okay, that is it. Thank you for sticking with me to the end. I hope this video was not too long. If you're not already subscribed, please do that. Hit the notification bell, like, comment, share this video if you want, and I will see you in the next one.